yesterday's attacks is another thing.
Some say that he does have ties to Muslim extremists. I don't know.
In April 2019, Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar and his LNA forces launched an assault on Tripoli, the capital of Libya, and the internationally recognized Libyan leadership known as the GNA. The assault left nearly 1,000 people dead and some 5,000 wounded, according to the World Health Organization. The figure includes at least 60 detained migrants who died in a recent devastating air attack carried out by Haftar's own air force on a detention center in the Tripoli suburb of Tajura.
This evening, we are all in the room. I was about feeding my baby when I heard the first sound. I don't know if it was bomb. We ran outside. We came back seeking for help. Nobody came to our rescue.
The civil war in Libya, following the ouster of longtime ruler Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, has forced more than 100,000 people to flee their homes in the country. While no real constructive contribution has been made from abroad, the role of foreign states in Libya's civil war has been hugely significant. In fact, interventions designed to serve foreign states' political or regional interests have been a constant feature of the country's post-revolutionary strife. For example, the flow of migration from Libya towards Europe that has prompted interventions from Western powers just to complicate the situation. Italy directly intervened in Libya to reduce the migration flow that began in 2015, supporting militias affiliated with the Government of National Accord, or the GNA, in Tripoli.
Stop being obsessed with the detention center. In the detention center, you have a very limited number of those guys. And the third answer, the number of those who are newcomers to Libya in the past year have nothing to do with the previous year. The flow of people coming from West Africa has gone almost nil in the past year. And from East Africa has gone down very substantially. So I hope that the Europeans care from now on more about Libya and more about geostrategy in the Mediterranean and are not obsessed by a single issue.
Similarly, France adopted a Libya policy that focused on what it calls counter-terrorism and, as a result, became increasingly dependent on Haftar. These dynamics have deepened the divide between the main internal players in Libya, namely the LNA and the GNA.
I'm telling Mr. Macron to get his hands off Libya. And I'm talking to our friends in France, freedom lovers, to help us along. Macron is supporting the militias, the military, he's supporting Haftar. Our kids are getting dead every day. There are children dying.
Yet the main interference with even more devastating effects come from 3 Arab countries, namely Saudi Arabia, Egypt and the UAE. Haftar launched his assault on Tripoli in April, shortly after returning from a trip to Riyadh, where he likely secured approval to advance with support from countries in the Middle East and North Africa. There are even rumors that Haftar received a tacit US blessing for the assault on Tripoli during his meeting in Riyadh, as US President Donald Trump called him shortly after on April 15th to praise him for combating what Trump called terrorism and safeguarding Libya's oil. While Riyadh's support for Haftar has ideological roots, Egypt's support for the general stems from a mixture of economic opportunism and security concerns over what Haftar and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi call an existential Islamist threat. Moreover, Cairo hopes that a good relationship with Libya will prop up the ailing Egyptian economy and allow Egyptian laborers in the country to resume work. These considerations led Egypt to invest heavily in Haftar, providing him with military and diplomatic assistance after he launched Operation Dignity in 2014. During his visit to the White House on the 9th of April 2019, Sisi reportedly spoke to President Donald Trump at length about the need to support Haftar and not leave him out in the cold. As the war entered a stalemate, Haftar's forces started conducting airstrikes at night, which the GNA's Interior and Defense Minister, Fathi Bashaga, blamed on two Arab countries, that is, Egypt and the UAE. It seems inevitable that unless it discovers a cheaper way to protect its interests, Cairo will continue escalating the conflict through arms shipments and airstrikes that give its client a military advantage.
إننا اليوم نطالب المجتمع الدولي بتحمل مسؤوليته كاملة وبغير إبطاء لاستئناف الحل السياسي، وندعو المبعوث الأممي الدكتور غسان سلامة للقيام بواجبه في تيسير العودة للمفاوضات السياسية بشكل شفاف وبما يتسق مع الاتفاق السياسي الليبي من خلال تنشيط قنوات الاتصال مع جميع الأطراف الليبية المعنية.
On the other hand, Emirati leaders who have positioned themselves at the forefront of a regional battle against the Arab uprisings view Libya as a central battleground in this struggle. Meanwhile, Libya's geographic position makes it important to the UAE's economic plan to dominate shipping lanes that flow into the Mediterranean. Libya's huge energy resources and need for reconstruction have created lucrative opportunities that the Emiratis aim to exploit after they failed to do so in the past. Since 2014, the UAE has been key to strengthening Haftar's military capabilities. The UAE has allegedly violated the UN Security Council's arms embargo to provide Haftar with a variety of military equipment, including US-made missiles, armored personnel carriers, and even aircraft.
والله دورة التصنيع هذه أمريكية وهذه الصينية والعقود اللي مكتوبة عليها من دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة للأسف.
The Emiratis have built facilities at Al Khadim Air Base, near the northeastern Libyan city of Marj, and Haftar's headquarters at El Rajma, that are capable of housing advanced jets, such as the F-16 and the Rafale. The airbase has also been used to deploy drones and to fly sorties that were vital to Haftar's military successes in Benghazi and Derna, and his efforts to maintain control of the Oil Crescent in Libya's east. The UAE has even tasked a US private military firm owned by Eric Prince with operating a squadron of aircraft in Libya to help Haftar maintain battlefield superiority and gain control of more territory. Since Haftar began his advance on Tripoli, there have been regular flights of transport aircraft between the UAE and eastern Libya, likely carrying shipments of arms and supplies, and a series of UAE-linked drone strikes on Tripoli. Meanwhile, since Haftar began his advance on Tripoli, supported by these Arab states, Daesh has stepped up its attacks across southern and central Libya. While the Libyan forces that fought Daesh are engaged in battles with Haftar, the group has been emboldened to create a safe haven in which it can regroup before launching attacks on the security forces and civilian infrastructure, as well as seizing resources.
هزيمة الدواعش في سرت ليست نهاية الدواعش. الدواعش الآن يحاولوا أنهم يجمعوا صفوفهم، يحاولوا أنهم يستفادوا من الوضع السيء اللي في ليبيا بين السياسيين في ليبيا. عدم اتفاق السياسيين في ليبيا أعطى رياحية للدواعش أنهم يفكروا أنهم يرجعوا إلى سرت أو يكونوا مجموعات
The proxy war in Libya has turned the hopes of a nation into ashes. The 2011 uprising in Libya that toppled Gaddafi and was to bring democracy to the country fell victim to the interests of foreign players, those who still consider dictatorship as the best ruling system in the region.